go to the team reps. I'm going to give them to the team members.
Okay, thanks. Congratulations, Elvin. All right. Great. Okay. All right. We're going to move on. Again, congratulations to all our great achievements done by our students. Personnel recommendations. Superintendent, you want to start going through these?
Sure. I recommend the committee approve the medical leave of absence request as submitted for Jessica Fanick, reading teacher specialist at the high school, beginning on about March 26, 2016, and continuing through the remainder of the 15th school year per NSTA contract and PFMLA, FMLA school committee policy.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent promotion. Second? I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? You guys have it. Certified appointments.
I recommend that the committee approve the following certified appointments based upon experience and work history as submitted. Complete applications are available if you wish to review. Dina Cook, currently she's .5 media specialist at Hallowell. Additional .5 math interventionist at Hallowell School Step 3B. Grant funded position, effective date November 23rd, 2015, and for the remainder of the 15-16 school year. And Holly St. Pierre, .9 math interventionist at NSCS Step 1B, grant funded, effective date November 23rd, 2015, the remainder of the 15-16 school year only.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Okay, I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none. To accept the superintendent's recommendation. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Non-certified appointments.
Mr. Chair, I recommend the committee approve the following non-certified appointment as submitted per NSASSB contract. Shelley Nicholson, 1.0 custodian. Assignment will be second shift at NSCS, effective date to be determined, which will be contingent upon successful completion of employment physical, as well as giving her current employment fair notice.
Okay. Do you want to do the other one? Can we move the other one?
No, that other candidate withdrew.
Okay. In that case, you have you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, to accept the superintendent's recommendation. I'll second that. Any discussion?
She currently works at the school, is that correct?
She does not, she works for Aramark, so
Okay,
she does
yeah,
not
but she
work
works
at
at
the
the
school.
school, is what I mean.
Yeah, she works at the school.
Okay.
Physically at the school, not a...
Yeah, not an employee, I get it.
Anything else? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The extracurricular appointments?
Recommend the committee approve the extracurricular special appointments as submitted. NSCS School Improvement Team for 15-16 school year only. Nancy Christmas, community member. Middle school for 15-16 school year only. Leo Latimer, middle school improvement team co-chair. Stipend $500. And Kerry Blaze, middle school improvement team secretary. Stipend $300.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, to accept. I'll second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We have our administrative reports. I'm sorry. Was there
Sure,
another-
just, you have them for your perusal and reading. I would just like to point out a couple of things, if I may, Mr. Chair. On the back of Claire Arnold's report, you'll see the kneecap science results. It's worthy of note that at the high school actually achieved a 70.2% proficiency rating that ended up being the #1 in the state compared to the other 36 districts. It was amazing that, and to their credit, they've increased by 43% since 2008, and they're 39% above the state average. We made some other increases at our other schools, but certainly not as demonstrative as that one. Secondly, you probably are aware that the park results have come out. They come out at 1:30 today. I don't know if you want to entertain a quick comment from Mrs. Arnold, or if you'd like to pass and wait till the next meeting and you'll have a report from her. It's up to you.
It's up to you. Your discretion, Ms. Arnold. Do you want to give a comment on that now or wait?
They were just released today, so
Right.
I'd
Sure.
rather wait. But if you want to hear some thoughts about it, I can absolutely.
Sure.
Sure, what do you got?
So the park assessment, as you know, is the new assessment we've implemented to assess our students on the new Common Core standards. The Common Core standards were adopted officially in 2010. Last year was the first year that we took the assessment, so it's really a baseline year. And not only is it a new assessment based on new standards and new curriculum, but it was also new that it was done on the computer with new technology. So we knew that the scores were not going to look like our NECAP scores, because we do very well on NECAP assessments. And so they came out. We didn't do great. The whole state didn't do that great. I would say, we're 30% proficient when we're used to seeing like 90-something% proficient. But a lot of that is a learning curve. What I told the teachers, and we talked as an administrative team, when we get this data, the first thing we're going to say is, well, what are our relative strengths? We may not, see the strengths of the high scores that we've seen in the past, but we will see some strengths, and we will see some areas in need of improvement. We're going to look at it, we're going to analyze it, and make decisions about professional development, what we want to tweak, calibrate some of our scoring, some of our rubrics. So we're really going to use it to drive instruction. We have a plan, and it's a place to start. It's just a baseline year, really. So I was not thrilled with the results, but I knew that, and we all knew that going into it.
Can you get any results from the other states that did better and see what
So-
they did? Because
So
I'm just curious.
we
If they
actually
did well,
did very
maybe you did
similar.
something.
So we did very similar to most of the states that took it. There were about 12 states. The only state that really stands out is Massachusetts.
Yeah, I saw that.
Massachusetts always really stands out.
Why is that?
Honestly, because they started the movement of standards-based instruction a lot earlier. They started in the mid-90s, and they have, implemented assessments based on standards. They had higher standards. They have better standards, honestly. To be truthful, than the GLEs that we had. Our new standards actually look like the old mass frameworks a lot more. So we're headed in the right direction, and this is the first step. I do have to say, and I've said it to all the teachers that I've worked with, is that we just have to be proud of what we've done. We have new standards, we've studied them, we've unpacked them, we've written new curriculum, we're trying to get new materials and deliver instruction a little bit differently. We're incredibly proud of the work that our teachers have done, and so I don't want anyone to get too disappointed by these standards, because they're a baseline. We're going to take it from there, and we will rock it next year.
Just
We'll hold you to it.
Just, Mr. Chair, may I ask a quick question? Just,
Certainly.
did it matter? Do you think it would have mattered if we had taken the paper version versus the technology version?
It's hard to say 100%, but I definitely think, especially for our younger grades, our kids are great writers, and we've always stood out in writing in our district, over the last 5 years at least. And we didn't do as well on writing, but it was on the computer, and it's typing, and it's keyboarding, and our kids that we did get Chromebooks, and we're so very thankful, but our third graders don't know how to type. So, it's an issue that we know. It's a valid issue, and it's a fixable problem, but they need to have access and opportunity to learn the keyboarding. And so it's definitely a process, and that will definitely probably come a little bit later in tonight when we talk about the need for some more Chromebooks. So I definitely think that we have great writers, and the assessment doesn't show that. We also have some really great math students, and taking a math assessment on computer is very different. And because we didn't have as many computers, we haven't had them for years and years, I think it's just some of that is practice, and some of it is a learning curve. And so it will work itself out, but there's other areas that we're gonna say, here's the standards that we need to dig into, and we need to have conversations and professional development, so, yes.
Park is also setting up that they don't want you to see the paper version. For example, in math, if you had a question and the answer was like 125,360, the kid couldn't just write the answer. He had to bubble in the 1, he then had to bubble in the 2. So he had to bubble in like 10 numbers across in order to fill in his answer. And when you get to little kids and they're trying to bubble the whole number across, there's a lot more margin of error that way, where a kid can make a misfill on a sheet, and it takes a lot more time, it's a lot more energy draining, so it doesn't hold their attention as much, so that they're not gonna be as focused. So I think Park deliberately made the paper version more difficult than the computer version, especially in math, to try to encourage more people to take it online. And I think you're gonna see more of that going forward, where they're gonna be eliminating the paper version at some point, I would guess.
I think so. Rhode Island, the majority of Rhode Islanders took it on the
Technology.
technology,
Yep.
computers or Chromebooks.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Aaron?
Make one comment. Just one thing that really stuck out to me that I'm concerned about, and not throwing you on the spot, but when you go back to your committee and talk, can you look at, in particular, the high school and the fact that only 73% participated in ELA and only 69% participated in math? Because that's definitely going to have a major impact on the scores, as in comparison to other schools that may have had 100% or 90. A lot of them were in the, high 80s and the 90s.
And at that 100, and that's another reason why we're taking it all with a grain of salt. We're gonna look at it, we're
Right.
learning from it, and we do want a high participation rate, because then it makes it more valid, and not
Right.
locked out in their lives.
Well, and I want the
They don't have
teachers to
certain
feel like they're not doing their job, or that they're, letting everything down. That's a big number. That's more than 25%.
Right.
So that's a big chunk of our
100%
population.
agreement. And we have started having conversations administratively. We started, we did at the elementary level recently a CIA night, and it's called Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Night, just to talk to parents about the standards, the curriculum, and the assessments, why we assess, and how we assess, and the importance of it, and how we use it to learn from it, and to better our instruction and better our curriculum. And so getting that word out, I believe a lot of that will work itself out. It was the first year, there was a lot of controversy, but I think it will work itself out.
Through the chair, if I may, and I think Claire would agree with me, that last year, we did not get really demonstrative support from the Department of Ed on opting out. They left it to individual communities, and we did not come to the school committee to ask you to pass a very stringent no opt-out clause. The reason being is we felt like it was the first year, and there still was a lot of leeriness. People were very leery about the test itself and the results. I don't know where RIDE will go this year, if they will end up taking a step forward and saying there are no opt-outs. I don't know. I think that's a good point, really good point that you noticed that. So.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll have more, at the next meeting, so you have time to analyze all the data. And again, Mr. Let's just point out, yeah, it has, as to echo what the superintendent said, as you know, there's been a lot of discussion in the air about, and chatter about taking it, not taking it, so it's not surprising to have a number of parents and guardians electing to opt out of it. And I'm sure we're all going to be looking at that down the road. All right, now we have the business department manager's report. Mark's not here, so is there anything you want to comment on with regard to the memorandum?
No, I'll just do what Lisa usually covers. You saw the school committee report in your packet, and we currently have a budget balance that's unencumbered and uncommitted of $2,036,311.14.
Okay, very good. Move on, anything on that? Okay, moving right along. The town council liaison report. Mr. Boucher and I exchanged telephone messages, but we kept connected, so that's why that's in my report. We exchanged two messages trying to connect, and we weren't able to, but we will at some point. Budget committee, next up, budget committee's liaison report.
We have nothing to report.
Okay, very good. Old business.
Can I
Yes.
have one thing for that? Maybe When we get to item 10F,
On the old business or new business? Well, new business, right?
yeah,
10F. 10F.
no, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
You mean 17?
No, item
Talking
under old
about the
business.
information being provided to the budget committee.
10F.
Oh, I see, yeah, F. We got-
Format of school committee,
Yeah,
budget
yeah,
committee monthly
yeah.
reports. I guess I kind of had a comment on the budget committee, school committee liaison reports, because we did try to sit down and come up with a report that would go to the budget committee monthly, and I'd like to discuss that later when we get to item F, and I'll give you a handout of what was contemplated for a type of report that we'll receive.
I'm sorry, Mike, I missed that. Was that discussed with Mrs. Marcotte? I missed it.
No, it was discussed
Oh.
with
The budget committee wrote up their own report.
John and
Okay.
I and Mike and Mike.
And actually, Lisa sent us a sample of it this month.
Right.
Remember?
I didn't bring it up under the update because it's on.
It's on the new
Okay,
one.
we'll get to it. I mean, I'm not trying to.
No, we'll get to it.
Go
Well, I'm
on.
just saying that I
Old business, okay. What we have is we have the North Smithfield Association of Support Staff Personnel, memorandum of understanding, electrician general maintenance position, the backup attached. This was actually something we reviewed. Mike, I know you weren't here, but we reviewed it at our last meeting and we didn't take the vote in open session, and honestly, I think we intended to, it just got skipped. It wasn't intended to be something, I think we prepared to vote on it, and we just skipped it when it came on the agenda. So, Superintendent, do you have do everyone remember that one?
Yeah, I recommend the committee vote to approve the MOA as submitted with authorization for the chair to sign.
Okay, there's a motion. Okay, I'll second it. Any
Question, do we have to make this a union position? I'll ask the electricity attorney, do we have to have it as a union position? Can it be non-union? I'm just asking.
I have to look at the original petition that was filed. It might be excluded as a professional position. I don't have access to it right now.
No,
I'm happy to check for you.
Thought process.
It's possible, sure. Slash maintenance also. It's not electrician. It's slash maintenance also.
What?
I have to change the job description. It's half electrician.
Yeah, that's right. It says electrician general maintenance. It's electrician general maintenance. I mean, I don't want to dwell on this too long. If we need to change it, but I know we meant to do it last time and we didn't. So is it something that anyone thoughts on this? I think this gentleman under contract has been working for us for a while.
My only question is, Mr. Logan, when did that happen, that it was changed to electrician/general maintenance?
Was the original
All
setup.
along, right?
All along.
Okay.
That was the original setup.
Okay. It's just because it wasn't stated that way? Is that what you were?
Well, it is electrician general maintenance.
Who does he report to? Does he report to the?
Reports to
Facilities director.
Mr. Shaw.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Again, this was what we had to sign last time. We just.
No, I understand that. When I heard you address
Sure.
that, I thought
Fair
that
enough.
that's what it was all along. I just wanted to clarify that.
I'm gonna-
Thank you.
Would you?
No, I'm going to vote against it just because I don't think we should have put a new position in the budget without having it budgeted. And so I'm going to oppose it just on that basis. Nothing to do with the memorandum agreement, just that we added a position without having a position budgeted.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, right? Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Yes.
Opposed. Okay, ayes have it. FY 16 ops. Okay, Sherry, you get that?
I got it,
Okay.
yes.
Item 2, and I'm not gonna, I want to make sure we have discussion, but obviously we have a long calendar next week. We want to move steadily. FY 16 operating capital budget, standing item on our agenda. Catch up with my we have a report. Mr. Superintendent, do you have any recommendations with regard to this, or anything you want to?
I do not. It's a standing item on the agenda. I think you have Alicia's report, which is, I think, very similar to that. That's where we stand on the operating budget. There is no report on capital at this point in time. We are waiting for a response from David Abbott on the technology end that the town council approved, but they're holding off on funding until we receive. word from Dave Abbott on the technology